Hi everyone, welcome to Fun Fold Friday. Today we're going to make another card, our final card for this week, using the True Beauty bundle. It's called the Awash with Beauty Suite. So we're going to start off with our stamps and our dies here, and we're going to use some of the paper, and we're going to use some of the embellishments and a few other things. Okay, so we're going to get started with a piece of Mary Merlot that measures 5.5 by 11. We're going to use the paper trimmer, and we're going to line up the edge of the long side of the cardstock with the trimmer at the 1 inch marking. So I'm going to use the 1 inch mark on the right hand side of my track. So I'm lining that up with the 1 inch. We're going to use the paper piercer, the cutting tool, and we're going to pierce the cardstock at 1 inch, and we're going to pull the cutter back to 6.5. So I'm piercing right here, and I'm going to pull this back to 6.5 right there, 6.5. So the increments are on the side of the trimmer here, you can see, and the middle of your blade is right where that little line is, in the center of your blade. So I've done that. You want to take it out, flip it over. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So lining it up on the edge at 1 inch, and we're going to pierce the cardstock at 1 inch, and we're going to cut all the way back to 6.5. So that's all the cuts that we have to do like this. So this is what it'll look like. Now we're going to do our scoring. So we're going to bring in my favorite Simply Scored board here, and we're going to use this to do our scoring. So along the long side here, you put the long side at the top. We're going to score on here at 1, 2 inches, and 6.5. So we only want to cut, we only want to score up to the cut line, okay? And then we're going to flip it over and do it on the other side. If you want to make it in one easy swoop, you can use a ruler and line it up. I'm just going to flip it. So I'm going to go 1 inch, 2 inches, and 6.5 up here, right to the cut line. I'll show you that close up here. There you can see the 3 score lines. Then we're just going to flip it over, and we're going to do the same thing. 1 inch, 2 inches, and 6.5. Now we want to do an additional score line in the center. The center of this one is going to be 5.5, but we only want to cut on the inside of the cut line. So just in here, not on the outside. So I'm coming in here at 5.5. I'm just going to bring my tool back. I'm not pressing until I get to the cut line, and then I'm going to go at the 5.5 inch mark. Okay, so there we have it. There's our center score line. So when you fold this up, this is going to be the middle. These are going to be like I call this the shoulders. So fold that up, this down, so that you get a look like that. Now, this is going to be 5.5 by 5.5 square. So we do not have square envelopes. If you have an envelope maker, you could make yourself an envelope for this card. I thought about changing the adjusting the sides because it's 5.5 inches wide with the shoulders. But if I had done it at 4.25, it would really make the middle piece narrow, and I didn't want it to be too narrow. So I hope you like this, and you can figure out an envelope. You can make your own envelopes. You can get creative. You could even Google how to make a 5 by 5 envelope. 5.5 by 5.5 is the final dimensions of this card. Okay, so we're done with the scoreboard, and put that out of the way. I'm gonna bring in my bone folder and just reinforce all those nice score lines that I just made. And then we're gonna bring in our layers now. So we've got, for our card front, we're going to do Balmy Blue. And the measurements, this will all be on the PDF over on my blog. So I'm not going to say the measurements, but you can check that out over on my blog at rosecoleman.com, and you can get that PDF later today, okay? So today is Friday, July 29th, 2022, if you're watching this. Okay, so we've got our DSP. This measures, I wasn't going to say the measurements, but I'm so used to doing it. The DSP does measure 3 by 5, which is a great measurement for your DSP because you're going to get 4 pieces across the top and then 4 across the bottom. So you're going to get 8 of these from your package, from your sheet of DSP. So we're going to just put this down. We're going to flip this over, add our glue to the background, the back of this DSP. We're going to put it onto the Balmy Blue. Makes those flowers just pop right out. And then we're going to glue this down, onto the center panel of our card. So we're just creating the beautiful background here. Love Mary Merlot. I have not used it near as much as I should. Such a pretty color. Okay, so that's our background. Now for the side shoulder pieces, the little panels, we're going to use some DSP from the same package. And I have strips here, so we only need 2 of them. They are 3/4 inches wide by 4 1/4. Okay, so I'm going to use my glue, put my glue on here, and we're going to put these down onto our piece. So you can open up your card if you want to just glue it down, and then you can fold it up later. So I just wanted to show you what that looks like when it's all standing up. So let's put our panels on. Here, 3/4 inch is all the width that we need here, because remember we cut at 1 inch, right? So that's the measurement for those strips. I've got some little tiny Balmy Blue DSP. These are 3/4 inch square. Got those, and I also have the same pattern in the same size, 3/4 inch. So the fastest, easiest way to do it is to come in here with your glue and just put in the squares like that. Easy peasy. So the pattern ones I'm going to put up here, and then I'm going to put, I don't know why I cut 4. I only need 2. Okay, you only need 2, guys, not 4. But anyway, you're probably going to make 2 cards anyway, so you won't waste them. So you need 2 of each, okay? So there's our little pieces. Make sure they're straight before that glue sets. You got a little bit of wiggle room if you're using liquid glue like me, and you can straighten those up. Nothing any worse than a crooked piece of DSP. Okay, so there's the front. Let's fold that up again. See how it looks. I love it. Okay, so now we're going to bring in, I have a piece of basic white that's the same size as the front piece. That's going to go in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that down. This is going to be the spot where we can, you know, write our greeting. You can stamp on it, whatever you want, however you like to decorate. There's some panels on the inside. You could go to town and add more designer series paper. I'm just going to leave mine blank here for now, and we're going to move on to our front focal point. So from the Scallop Contour dies, we're going to use this die shape here. It's cut with basic white. That's going to be my background. And I've gone ahead and done just one stamp. So I've stamped this sprig from the stamp set with Granny Apple Green. We're going to bring in our dies, and we're going to cut that out. So this is the die that coordinates with that one. So let me just place that on here, and I've got a little bit of washi tape to hold that in place while it goes through my machine. I've got a piece of vellum. We're going to cut that little sprig out of vellum, and then I'm going to use these dies here. Stampin' Up! Gives us, I love it when they give us multiple dies, because it really helps with our prep, right? We can do 2 at a time. But I actually need 3, so I do have to do 2 runs through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, but that's okay. So this is the stamp I'm going to use, and I'm going to bring in Mango Melody. I'm just going to stamp on my scrap paper here. Get my stamping done first, and grab my chamois, because I've got to clean in between colors. So I've got Mango Melody. I have Mary Merlot, which matches the cardstock. Going to stamp one of those and clean it. And my other color is Melon Mambo. Love, love, love Melon Mambo. So these are the colors that are coming through that designer series paper. So I thought I would use those today on my card. Let's clean up that final bloom. Okay, so now we're going to put this through our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I'm just going to trim this down a little bit smaller. And yeah, I've just got the 3 images to go through. Easy peasy. I just put this one off to the side, and we're going to do 2 at a time. Okay, let's lift this up, and we'll bring in our machine, and we'll cut that out. Okay, so we're going to put this on here, this one here, and where's my other one? My other little die. It just went missing. It's not Facebook Live, but my video is going to give me... I have no idea where that die just went. It was just literally here. You guys saw it. I had 2 of them. Did it fall on the floor? Oh, heavens. I'll find it. As soon as I finish the video, you guys know how it goes, right? You guys know the drill. Real life crafting here, even if it's pre-recorded. Okay, so let's go ahead, cut this out. The die is in, one of the dies is in my hands. I got to do this 3 times, and I thought I was getting away with 2. The gremlins in my scrapbook or in my craft room here are laughing away at me today. They're like, we have your little die. We're under the table. It's okay. It's okay. Good heavens. I'm probably watching the replay with you guys and laughing again because it's so funny how these things happen. All right, stay there. Here we go. Talking to my dies. Anybody else talk to their Stampin' Up! Supplies? Or is it just me? All right, so here we go. We've got our vellum piece, our vellum sprig. I don't want to lose anything else. We've got our Granny Apple Green stem here. We've got one of the blooms, and we're going to work on getting the second one. Let's see. Let's lift up everything here. Let's see. Did it fall somewhere? Oh my goodness. Craziness. Craziness up in here. Okay. We got one die. Let's be grateful. We've got one, right? You know, it's all about the gratitude, isn't it? Did it fall between the layers of my plates? The other thing that sometimes happens is dies fall down into your machine. Did that happen? Here's something in there. Could be little bits of paper. It's always an eventful day over here with Stamping with Rose. Let's go ahead and do our other blooms. There's my yellow one, my Mango Melody. Now we're gonna do the Merry Merlot. I have to laugh. I just have to laugh. I just can't even believe that just happened, and I'm recording. So I don't want to delete what I've already shown you. So I'm just gonna keep on going, and you can laugh with me. And when I find the die, I will laugh even harder. I guess the moral of the story is never give up. Just keep on going, right? Just keep going. It's a moral in life, isn't it? Just keep going. Okay, so we've got our blooms. Let's pull this all in together. So before I put anything together, I want to do my stamping of my greeting. So the greeting that I'm going to use today is from the stamp set, the True Beauty stamp set, and it's here for you always. I love that. So this could be, you know, a thinking of you card. It could be a sympathy card. It could just be, I'm here for you, and you just want to let someone know, right? Sometimes there doesn't have to be a reason, right, to send a card. You can just send a just because card. And this stamp set actually has a just because in it. Let me bring that back in so you can see. I'll just leave this over to the side here. So we've got that stamp there. We've got our sprig. We're going to put that on. And we are going to put this on with dimensionals. But before I do, my thought was that I would use these blooms on top of the sprig like this. And this one over here, so I'm just going to put it, I was going to say I was going to trim a little bit off of this one, but I think I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to bring in my glue and add some glue to the sides, and then I'll put the blooms down where I want them, because this is how flowers grow in nature, right? Like they, you know, they've got greenery around them, they're next to other colors. It's all good. You can't make a mistake with a floral image, right? It's all good. Okay, so got that. The little vellum piece, this just adds a little bit of texture and dimension and depth of interest to your card. I love vellum. Sometimes you only need just a little tiny piece. So I'm just going to put that right on there. And then I'm going to bring in dimensionals for this part. And I'm going to put some dimensionals on the thicker parts of my piece to anchor this down. And I think I probably need one more piece. So let's just trim these little strips here. Trim up my dimensionals. There we go. And I'll put my last little one right there. And this one will be anchored very, very nicely. No saggy bits on this card. Okay, so before I put this down, I do want to take advantage of this design on this little rectangle because I really think it's fabulous. I did put my vellum on there, so I hope that's not going to get in my way. But this die cut, can you see it has like the openings on the side, and there's like 2 openings at the top and bottom. So what I'm going to do is bring in some ribbon, And I have it here on my desk. I did have it here. It's my blue, yes, okay, balmy blue ribbon. So we're gonna pull in the balmy blue from this DSP, tie everything together here. So this is from the Gnome Suite. So if you purchase the Gnome Suite, you already have this. It's the balmy blue ribbon. It looks like this, it's gorgeous. So I'm just gonna take the ribbon and I'm just gonna feed it through. So I'm just gonna pop it through the back here and have it come out the other side. And then you can just kind of, you know, look at it and see how wide you want it. And then when you're happy with the width, you go ahead and you do a little snip. Easy peasy, no wastage, right? Okay, so there's my focal point. Let's bring back the card. This is gonna go onto my card right here in the center. And we're gonna use more dimensionals. So I'm gonna use up this package. So I'm gonna use that one dimensional that I've got left there in this package. And I'm gonna use that to kind of anchor that ribbon into place so it doesn't really move. I'm just gonna use it to go half on the ribbon, half on the cardstock, and then I'll use up my little strips. So I'll put one here and one at the top. Yeah, I got one here. Okay, so there we go. There's our focal point, and we're gonna put that right down in the center of our card. I'm loving this so far. What do you guys think? I wish I could see your comments. Okay, so there, excuse me, we're gonna put this on an angle like this, just like that. There we go. I love it. Now we are going to bling it up with some of those iridescent pearls. And they are here on my desk somewhere. Oh, yep, there we go. I got a lot of stuff on my desk today, you guys. Okay, so we're gonna bring these in and we're gonna add one down here and a couple of small ones, one up here and one over here. And I think we are good. Here we go. It's called a center center step card, okay? Center step fold. So it's like a step, right? And then it's in the center and then it stands like that. And it is a 5.5 by 5.5 vinyl card design. So you will need to grab some DSP, scrap DSP. I'm sure, you know, you can find a way to make a square envelope. You can purchase them online too. Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell them anymore, but you can make them with Designer Series paper. All right, there's our card for today. I hope you guys are going to have a great weekend. When I come back with my next fun fold, we will be into August. So if you've liked what you've seen this week with all of the cards that I've shared using the Awash with Beauty, and you purchase that suite before Sunday at midnight, and you use this host code for my online store from anywhere across Canada, I'm going to send you the cardstock pieces that you are going to need to make all of the cards I've made this week, you guys. So thank you so much for shopping with me. I appreciate you all so much for coming back every day, and I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.